And welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday, here with a special 4th of July celebration event on this here 4th of July 2023. Obviously, rocking the old mega hat, because why the fuck not? You know, it is America. And we're going to make America great again, no matter what. And that's what we said by the end of the day. So, anywho, um, basically, got a couple things I'm going to talk about today. Obviously, we're mostly going to talk about the founding of this country and everything else like that. But I do want to talk about something else too, and something we'll talk about for the past few days on grandstands and stuff like that, which is you had the left always make it about themselves and always try to make other shit about themselves. So I guess there was different parades down in Cincinnati area today for 4th of July. And, you should be doing America's country is what it is, dude. Like, leave the politics aside. I don't care which side you're on us at this point. Yes, no, maybe so. Get that shit out of here, dude. I don't care if you're all for the voting yes in August election, which is what it should be anyway, or if you're going to vote no against it. Because obviously you're a fucking moron if you're voting no against it, dude, because you don't understand that, like, there's a reason why we need 6% thresholds in our state constitution. And obviously these leftists are another false impression that we're going to have any fucking majority here for Democrats ever again without massive voter fraud, because we've talked about that many times on this channel as well. If we look at Michigan, actually, last year, the only reason these cocksuckers have any fucking representation in the Democrat Party is because you had Whitmer, Nissel, Benson, etc., all commit fucking massive voter fraud in Michigan there to maintain power. That's the only fucking reason that they have anything there. And of course, what's happened since then in the last, 7 months or so? You've had Whitmer and company go on a fucking whole tirade, destroy people's gun rights there, take away their fucking constitutional rights, keeping bear arms, put red flag laws in the books, put universal background checks in the books, put all kinds of bullshit. I don't know if they did waiting periods or not in that state yet, but I'm pretty sure they're going to try that too at some point, is what it is. And it's like, here's my thing, right? These leftists think that here in Ohio, number one, that lawsuits aren't a fucking thing, that we wouldn't just sue their asses in the fucking ground if they even tried that shit here. Because that's the thing. We're not Michigan. We're not fucking jackasses like the idiots in fucking Oregon that allowed that shit to go through and then had to go after and backpedal after the fact of it, dude. No. We would shut that fucking shit down before it even hit the ballot boxes, bitches. We would make sure to fucking sue these people even before it even hits a ballot box, and that's the entire point of the matter. Because the second they would even try to put that crap in our fucking ballots, we'd be like, no, bitches, fuck you. So, and you'd have massive lawsuits even to get it on the ballot, then this would it be. And that's the thing that people don't even realize, like, and I think people are starting to realize because people like me, talking about it yesterday, where you have literally Bloomberg, Everytown, Moms Demand Action, etc., are the ones bankrolling these vote no campaigns, is what it is. So it's like, why would you ever vote against an amendment that would solidify your constitution with a 3/5 majority in it, unless you're number one, you're a fucking moron that should not voting rights to begin with, or number two, you are such a domestic terrorist in this country because you're a fucking leftist piece of shit, is what it is, who is either backing Antifa, part of Antifa, part of BLM, etc., that if we did have a 6% threshold, you would never have any ability to do anything here ever again, is what it is. And that's what they're basically doing right now. That's why these people are freaking out so much. You have these leftist minority here in Ohio, these people that are maybe like 30-something% of the actual overall voter block here. Maybe I would give them maybe 40% actually at that point. But the thing is, when you look at the representation in the state house right now, it's literally 1/3. And the only reason it's 1/3 is because they refused to back one county, one rep legislation. Because if they did, it would not be 32 Democrats in our state's house right now. You would legitimately have like 5 to 6, and it would be all the major city seats that it would be. So it'd be potentially Stark County would go blue because you'd have Canton and Akron both in Stark County. You would have Toledo area go blue, obviously there where that county is at. You would have Hamilton County there in Cincinnati that would go blue. You would have Franklin County, which is Columbus, go blue. You'd have Cuyahoga County, which is Cleveland, go blue. So that's like 5, 6 right there is what it would be then. And then you'd probably have, most likely, if we had more than 2 parties in the state again, you would have probably like 30, 40 seats or so go red. And then you'd have like a handful, like where Athens, Ohio is and stuff like that. You'd have that county specifically go probably, I would guess, communist, honestly, if I'm going to say it correctly. Because there's a lot of commie college kids down there is what it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had a voter block down there to basically make a communist seat, then is what it would be then. And then, of course, you'd have other people go in there. You'd have me jumping races and stuff like that. And other people like me jump into races as constitutionalists, and we would actually turn some of those into constitutional seats. What would it be then? If we actually had like a legit third-party candidacy, what would it be then in the state, and had the ability to do third parties in the state? But unfortunately, because of Dickhead Kasich and other rhinos, as well as a bunch of Democrats back in 2013, they fucked us all over in a two-party system forever, is what it is now. So, you know, and that's the one thing. And the biggest problem I have with these leftist people personally, and this is why I'm hearing these grievances here on the 4th of July, you know, on Independence Day, is because it's like, dude, if y'all weren't such fucking cunts, if y'all weren't such fucking scumbags, we could actually come together and work on something together, is what it would be. But the problem is, you want me dead, you want people like me dead, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let you kill me, is what it is. And that's the whole point of the matter, you know? I'll be damned if I ever let you fuckers get the upper hand on me, dude. I'll be damned if I ever walk into your shithole fucking cities and get gunned down because you have a bunch of fucking criminals on the loose that you refuse to actually put in jail, is what it is. Which, by the way, here's a fucked up one for you. Last night, Columbus, Ohio, there was a event called Red, White, and Boom. It's apparently a yearly thing they do every year on the, usually 3rd of July is what it is there. And it's basically a giant fireworks show. What'd you have down there? A bunch of fucking dickhead teenagers, most likely the Somalis that fucking Kasich let in here when he was governor, start lighting off fireworks and have people yell gun everywhere. And so you had a bunch of people basically sort of trampling parade is what it was. As far as I'm aware, I don't think nobody was trampled in that whole situation, but it's like, yeah, you're basically inciting a riot is what you're doing there, inciting, you know, terrorist shit is what it is there, which if they find, I hope they find these fucking kids and hit them with a book at that point, man, because 100% they've committed multiple felonies last night doing that shit. And God forbid it actually was a firearm that was used, you know, it'd be a bunch of criminals killing fucking innocent people is what it is, dude. And again, this is two things right now. Number one, this is why I do not go into major cities unarmed ever again. And secondly, why I don't go to big events like that. Because God forbid I go to one of these things, even here around the Canton area, and something crazy like that happens, I'm going to be the fat guy that gets fucking trampled over is what it is, man. Fuck that. You know, why wouldn't I just sit out on my front porch and just watch the neighbors blow up a bunch of stuff around here, dude? Hell, I did that last night, actually. Legitimately. You had people up there doing some stuff. You had people over here doing some stuff. You had people across my street doing some stuff. And yeah, it was a nice little fireworks show for about 20 minutes to a half hour or so. And I was able to either sit outside on the porch just bullshitting and stuff like that and watching it for a few minutes, or I was able to literally turn my chair in the living room there and just look back out the window, and I was able to see stuff get lit off out the window in the comfort of my own home is what it is. So it's like, why would I need to go out to a big ass giant, you know, park and stuff like that and be able to, you know, do things like that or whatever, than just sit here and be, you know, free and not have to worry about possibly being killed at some event or whatever the case be. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the basically dollar store knockoff, if you want to call it that, because I got it at a flea market a few years ago, and it's not an official one. It is a made in China one, unfortunately, which sucks, but you know, that's all they had for sale at the flea markets. So I wish it would have been an actual made in America one, but you know, it's just me personally. But anyway, so what was I going to talk about now? Oh yeah, so I guess the thing I was going to mention here with this whole thing was the people at that parade today that did the little vote yes float there, and obviously you had the people do the pictures there, and then the person that actually posted the picture shot here of it was talking later on down in the comment section. Let's see if I can find the comment they said here. All right, let's see here. I swear I just had it a minute ago. I feel like these people are legitimately trying to gaslight and just talk about themselves, saying no one said they were smart. Like, it's funny to me that you have all these people that claim to be like, you know, classic liberals or, you know, leftist educated Democrats and stuff like that. And it's like, all you're showing is that you're indoctrinated, dude. That's all you're showing to me. Every single time. Just because you have a college degree doesn't mean you're smart, dude. It means you were able to go through the motions and do a bunch of schoolwork to get some kind of useless degree in most cases, whether it be women and gender studies, whether it be some, you know, DEI crap or whatever the case be, or some CRT shit or whatever it is there as like your main major. It's not like going to an actual, trade school and doing like actual stuff to do, I don't know, plumbing or welding or anything like that is what it is. And that's the big thing, like people don't realize like you can go be a plumber in this country and make 6 to 7 figures a year. You don't have to go to a college and get, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And then meanwhile, maybe the degree path you go on actually pays for itself at some point after you pay off your student loans, versus you go into a trade of some kind and, 10, 15,000 maybe for that to do the actual journeyman work and stuff like that. And then you're out the door. First year, you got that shit paid off with your paychecks. So to me, it's just crazy, man. It's just completely insane to me. You have these people that will go there and like shit on blue collar and white collar workers and stuff like that. Yet meanwhile, they come in out of a college and don't know a fucking thing, man. And that's what's funny to me. Even going back, going back to the spirit of America is what it is. Going back to the, picking yourself by your bootstraps kind of mentality. My mother never went to college in her life. Never had to. She was one of the baby boomer generation. She grew up in a time period where if you worked hard enough, you could make it in life. And that's what we need to be again right now as a country. We need to bring back manufacturing in this nation. We need to bring back better paying jobs. We need to bring back America as we know it. We need to bring back the American spirit, the American way, American patriotism, for God's sakes. Have respect in the flag, have respect for the Second Amendment, have respect for the Constitution if you're going to be in civil servant politics, and take an oath to the Constitution. Respect the fucking founding documents of this country. You don't sit there and try to fuck with people's rights. Don't sit there and try to fuck with the Second Amendment. Respect where this country was founded, what it was founded upon as the freedom that it was founded upon, or get the fuck out. Seriously. Like, nobody needs you here, man. Get the fuck out. If you hate America that much, if you hate this country, if you hate the sovereignty of this nation, just leave. Leave and leave your citizenship at the fucking door and go find another country out there. Most people won't because they're too big of a bunch of pussies and know that they have life so good here, even if they want to shit on America, that they're actually going to be in good standing to be able to make it in life. That we still are technically a first world nation, even though we bring in the third world like fucking crazy on a daily basis, not hourly basis anymore, with open borders and stuff like that. So, yeah, and that's the problem right now, You have the sound of freedom, but they squander it. They squander it, they shit on it, and they try to destroy it. They try to destroy the next generation of our country. The next generation of human life through abortion and other bullshit like that. Or God forbid, if they can't get them in the fucking womb, what are they going to do? They're going to get them as young as possible in the schools with indoctrination, and they're going to try to get them on hormone blockers and puberty blockers and all kinds of other bullshit like that that's going to sterilize these kids permanently. And that's why I'll be damned if I let that happen this coming November. It's supposed to be tomorrow as a deadline for this stupid ass thing. I hope to God they didn't make the 413,000. I really hope they didn't. I'm gonna laugh if they didn't make the 413,000, man. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna laugh hysterically. The big thing is though, and I know from the numbers, potentially if you go back to the 2022 midterms there, I think there was about 1.5 million to 2 million people that voted for Nan Whaley, give or take. So potentially they would need like 1/3 to 1/5 of their voter base there, if whatever her dumb ass actually signed that petition for November ballots and stuff to put abortion and try to enshrine abortion into the Ohio Constitution. Hopefully they couldn't get that. Hopefully people were like, nah, bro, I'm good. And here's the thing about what I was mentioning earlier with that truck sign there and that whole thing there. So even going back to this whole thing, one of the things these people said, actually, I like what this person said here. Said 4th of July is about freedom. They choose for yes, and you choose for no. Yeah, exactly, dude. And that's what it is. It's personal choice is what it is. And that's the thing, right? Like, I'm all for personal choice. Like, that's fine to me, right? The problem I have, especially with these people that want to sit there and you know, try to basically enshrine abortion or claim abortion as like healthcare and stuff like that when it's not, obviously, is you're sitting there and you're bullshitting. You're lying to people. You're permanently ending human life because you, as a female in this country, either A, don't think it's right for you to have the kid at the time, or B, think that, oh, it's fine, I'll just use this birth control. And unfortunately, that's been pushed so hard anymore. Like, that particular second one has been pushed so hard in this country anymore, where these people are fine with using abortion as birth control. And it's like, bro, there are so many people out there in this nation right now that want a child. Have the child, give it up for adoption. Hell, if you don't want it, take it to a safe haven location. They're all over this country. There's some here in Ohio, there's some in Indiana, there's some in every single state in this nation right now. Except maybe states like California who hate fucking children at all is what it is, dude. You know, that's why I was watching a thing earlier. It said something about there was 1 million plus people potentially from California. They're going to try to move to Texas this year because it's like, or not quite, it's, sorry. It wasn't 1 million. It was, they would save $1 million by moving from California to Texas. And so, yeah, it's going to be hundreds of thousands of people probably going to Texas and stuff like that before 2024 election cycle, which, you know, it's fine and dandy and everything like that. The problem is people are the locusts. They're the ones that are going to sit there for the most part. And I'm not saying they're all locusts, but like the majority of them are is what it is. Because you have some that are definitely going to vote Republican or vote third party or whatever the case be. But then you have other ones who are hardcore Democrat until death people who have already used the Democrat Party to push their bullshit and create the policies that made California the shithole they want to escape from now, and want to keep voting that same exact way when they move to another state is what it is. And it's exactly why I've said before, and I'll say it again right now. I am actually for denial of voter rights when people move to different states is what it is. Like, there really should be like at least a 5-year block where if you're going to move and you're going to continue to vote the same exact way or whatever the case, you just don't have voting rights for that entire like half a decade of time. Because at that point, you would have the people that are actually the bred and born people of that state and stuff like that have the ability to pass a bunch of stuff that would not allow you to fuck over their state in the end is what it would be then. Because they'd be enshrining other stuff. They'd be enshrining, you know, gun rights. They'd be enshrining pro-life rights and stuff like that in the state constitutions. And that's how it should be anyway. And that's the problem right now. Because you have these people that'll come in there, these, you know, out-of-staters and stuff like that, these carpetbagger types and stuff like that, that will sit there and try to fuck over your freedoms by trying to claim, oh, it's all about safety for everybody. It's like, no, it's not, bitch. You are a lying sack of shit, Karen, Becky, etc. All it's about is for your fucking ass to feel safe by fucking over my rights is what it is. And I'll be doing it if I let that happen anymore, dude. That's why I'm very outspoken. That's why I'm very much a fucking Second Amendment advocate. That's why I'm a constitutionalist. That's why I'm a 2A org founder in this country now. Because I'm so sick of it. You know, almost 4 years ago, I sat back and watched what happened in less than 14 hours between El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. 2 back-to-back government-created massacres in this country. And what happened following those? You had the left in Texas try to push gun control. You had a bunch of fucking Democrats here 3 days after Dayton try to push a bunch of gun control. Every single one of those Democrats, except for a couple that were termed out in the next election cycles, or the one that was actually beaten in the next election cycle, almost every single one of the 30-something people that were on that anti-gun bill are all still in the Ohio State House right now. They should all be in prison right now for deprivation of rights under color of law. And so should every single one of those pieces of shit that's currently in our state Senate that voted against it too, or voted for that crap too, as well as what it was, to submit the legislation. The second, and I'm going to say it like this, man, I don't care if it's a state level or if it's at a congressional level. The second that any politician, any civil servant in this country tries to take away your rights, whether it be with red flag laws, universal background checks, waiting periods, assault weapons bans, magazine bans, whatever the case be, the second that they even put their fucking name to that paper as a primary sponsor or as a co-sponsor, and they attempt to submit that legislation, they should have cuffs slapped on their fucking wrists and they should be dragged out of office to a prison cell. Because that is exactly the kind of shit that led our founding fathers in this fucking nation to declare war on the British Empire, to take this fucking country by force in 1776 and declare independence. And that is exactly what today is about. It's declaring our independence. It's celebrating our independence in 1776. The founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. The men who, in their own time, would have been considered terrorists because they were fighting against an unconstitutional British Empire. An empire that was trying to tax them to death, that was trying to take away their freedoms, that was illegally searching and seizing their homes and their paperwork and everything else like that. It's why you have the way that the Constitution is written, how it's written. The First Amendment of freedom of speech, the Second Amendment of the right to keep and bear arms, the Third Amendment, et cetera, et cetera. Fourth Amendment of illegal search and seizures and stuff like that. Yeah, Third Amendment of not being quartering soldiers in your homes. Sorry, I forgot what it was at the time. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any home without consent of the owner, nor in a time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. And of course, Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And then, of course, 5 about not self-incriminating, stuff like that, et cetera, the Bill of Rights. And that's the one thing people always talk about. They always talk, all these women and stuff like that always talk about, like, oh, the women's right to vote and stuff like that. Yeah, guess what? It wasn't the founding fathers who gave you that. It was like Lincoln's time period that gave you that shit, dude. Or no, sorry, it wasn't even Lincoln's time period. It was after that even. It was 1919 when you finally got voting rights in this country. Because the founding fathers understood when it came to the Bill of Rights, dude, that's all that really mattered. That's what it was, dude. It was like that, and then later on the 14th Amendment, like due process and stuff like that is what it would be. So, yeah, the entire point of the matter is you never had the founders of this country give a fuck about female voting rights. And there's a reason for that, man, because they understood back in those days, like, yeah, they were the guys that got shit done. They were the guys that literally fought for this fucking country, so why shouldn't they be the ones that have the fucking voting rights in the household? And in many cases, it was their wives, their daughters, their sisters, etc., their aunts, their mothers, all these people like that all supported that stuff because they understood, like, yeah, these guys are who got it fucking done, man. It wasn't until 100-something years after that you had all these uppity bitches then being all like, well, we should totally have rights too to vote because we need to be suffragettes now. The original first wave feminists, by the way. The people that led directly to second wave feminism, and then, of course, to the third wave feminism we've seen over the last 50-something years, and the fourth wave feminism we're seeing now is what it is. Which is basically, you had the bra burnings in the 70s and stuff like that for third wave feminism, the beginning of that shit. Of course, that was also around the same time you had women and gender studies courses being created in colleges, which are nothing more than an offshoot of Marxism. They're the bastard daughter of Marxism is what it is. And, if our founders realized, like, just how fucked this country was going to be in 2023, man, they would have definitely enshrined some other shit in the Constitution at that point, I think, honestly. Or it would have been something to say straight up, be like, on this date, y'all need to rebel against the tyrannical government again at a federal level. So, and it was just like some date in like the 2020s or something like that. But anyway, needless to say, I feel like our country is a great nation. For the most part, And that's the thing, like, for myself personally, to all the leftist people out there, to all the centrist people out there, et cetera, that are kind of leaning left and stuff, I don't want to hate you. That's the truth, man. I really don't. I don't want to hate you. But you make it so easy for me too. Because you keep pushing, and you keep pushing, whether it be on abortion, whether it be on anti-gun shit, whether it be on any kind of other freedom-breaking, oath-breaking garbage. And then you wonder why I get fucking pissed. You wonder why I call you a bunch of fucking cunts. Because you fucking are is what it is. You're a bunch of childish fucking children who want to sit there and throw a goddamn hissy fit every fucking 5 minutes instead of growing a pair of fucking balls as an adult male or sitting there as an adult female and actually, listening to what people have to say instead of bitching and moaning and babbling on or whatever the case be, and having real conversations with people is what it is about things. But no, instead you'd rather just whine, bitch, moan, and complain about things and then be like, but we have the numbers. No, you don't. You've never had the fucking numbers, especially in the state of Ohio right now, dude. You have never had the numbers here. What you have is you have a loud ass voice on a fucking megaphone of about 100 something people. Meanwhile, there's 1,000 people over here being silent who are just sick and tired of hearing your shit now is what it is, dude. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. We're seeing the silent majority of this country, the Make America Great Again movement of this nation, finally have enough of your fucking shit. And we're finally willing to speak up about it. I've been speaking up about it on the site for over 5 fucking years now, dude. Unfortunately, some of the old material got deleted because of the federal swatting 4 years ago is what it is. But yeah, I've been speaking out against these fucking assholes for at least the last 5 years, if not 6 or 7 years for that matter even. Might have been, come think about it, back 2016 when I started talking about these assholes back then, dude. So yeah, it's more like 7 years then. But yeah, we're just sick of it. We're sick of it, man. You know, you want to sit there and you want to fucking bitch and moan about stuff, like, or you could just have fun. You could just celebrate the founding of this country is what it is, dude. You can celebrate the founding documents of this country and be cool. But you can't even do that. You can't even do that for one fucking day. You can't even do it for one fucking day. Because you always have to make it about yourselves is what it is. You can't actually sit here and look at the beauty of this country that's being destroyed by fucking globalists on a daily basis. And to sit here and actually have fun and celebrate the potential freedoms that are being stripped away from us right now is what it is, dude. And no, voting, yes, on August 8th in Ohio is not stripping away your freedoms. What it's doing is it's enshrining more freedom. Because it's saying, hey, we're not going to allow 50% of the fucking voter population plus a single vote, so potentially 200,000 people plus one person on top of that, to change the lives of another 200,000 people. You know, seriously. And I'm just using that as an example. Obviously, it's more like millions at that point, and that's the thing, right? I don't believe that they would have numbers, honestly, dude. I don't even think they have numbers for the abortion amendment, dude, in November. I really don't. I don't think the left does. If they do, I'd be surprised. And I think it's going to be very close if they do, honestly. Because like I said, it's going to be roughly 1/3 to 1/5 of their actual voter base from 2022 is what it would be for Nan Whaley's ass. And Tim Ryan's ass as well on that one. So, you know, potentially it would be a very close margin. It would all be the major cities, by the way. It would be literally, you know, Cuyahoga County, Franklin County, Hamilton County, aka Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati areas that you'd have the majority of those come from. Then it would be obviously Dayton and Toledo and stuff like that for the major cities that would be having those areas come from, and probably like Athens, Ohio too, because it's very lefty for Miami University down there and things like that. So that was the one, by the way, that Caitlin Bennett was jumped out a couple years ago when she was basically attacked by a bunch of people there. So anyway, and it's all college commies, dude. It's all Antifa terrorists that go to those fucking schools is what it is, man. It's all people who should never have rights in this country ever again because they're committing terrorism. Because they should be behind bars for the rest of their damn lives at that point. If not, you know, death penalty at a federal level is what it is then for the shit they've committed right now. Just like the assholes that committed the whole Chaz attacks a few years back now during 2020 riots and stuff like that. All the people that killed all those innocent people down there and stuff like that. All the Antifa people and stuff like that that were there. Every single one of those people, starting with Rouse and Moen, should be at a federal prison cell right now waiting death penalty for the shit that they did down there to create the Chaz, and we're doing warlord stuff and whatnot. So anyway, you know, hopefully things will change. I don't know. I don't think we're going to make it to 2024, honestly. I would love to see us do so and love to see Trump get reinstalled as president in this country, obviously. I don't think we're going to make it there. I think we're going to balkanize first. I think we're going to have a balkanization event. I think we're going to have a civil war type of event here, probably by the end of this year, if not early 2024 is what it'll be then. You know, it all depends. It depends. Because obviously when you look at summer rioting and stuff like that, it's always when it gets hotter that you always have riot seasons going on and stuff. And we all know every 2 to 4 years, you know, you have, it seems like every election cycle anymore, you got, you know, the left bringing out their terrorists and BLM and Antifa and every other, you know, leftist terrorist organization there that they want to pull out of the work and stuff like that. And then, of course, they got, you know, their Fed plants like your Patriot Fronts and your fucking blood tribe people like that now that claim to be neo-Nazis when they're not. They're a bunch of federal informants. And people act like we don't see through these people's shit, dude. You know? And obviously the media being bought and paid for like it is on the left because it's all giant corporations that bought and pay for that shit. And what you have is a situation there of them creating a false narrative claiming that nobody's against that stuff. And it's like, no, dude, everybody on the right's against that shit. Seriously, if you go back a couple months right now when they did the drag story hour and stuff like that, you had the that moron from Maine and the other guys that come to the Blood Tribe there going out there and try to do neo-Nazi shit. Every single group there of individuals that was against the drag queen stuff, that was MAGA hat wearers, right wingers, etc., told those guys to fuck off. They're like, get the fuck out of here. You're not part of us. You're not going to be part of us. You're not going to be part of this event. Fuck off. Go back to where you fucking came from, you Fed boy fucks, etc., etc. And, you know, there's video out there of that, honestly. I want to say it was News to Share, the Ford Fisher guy. He actually filmed some of it, too, if I'm not mistaken, on his Twitter account there. There was videos of that on the Twitter account I saw the day it happened there. It might have been deleted since then, because, you know, obviously we know Ford's a fucking Fed boy, too, as well. So that's why he's always embedding with the left is what it is there. Antifa, BLM, etc. But anyway, yeah, needless to say, today is a good day, I think. It's a good day to celebrate. Good day to celebrate the founding of this country. Good day to celebrate why we should have a second revolution, honestly, at some point in the future. Because it's going to happen, I believe. It's just going to be a matter of time right now. And it might not look what we think it's going to look like. It might not be, you know, guns ablazing in the streets kind of thing like that. It might be a lawsuit. It might be a bunch of lawsuits. It might be, you know, some silent majority coming together and just suing the federal government out of existence, really, is what it is. Or it might just be people, you know, in the coming years and stuff like that, just taking down seats of power and changing things from the inside out is what it is then. You know, getting constitutions in place, installing term limits, enforcing term limits, enforcing automatic disqualifications of seat of power in this country, et cetera, disqualifying these fucking leftist scumbags and these rhino scumbags from holding power right now. And if that happens, we'll be a better nation, I believe. And unfortunately, until that happens, I don't think much is going to change in this country. And that's why I believe, truthfully, we're heading more towards balkanization of it right now. I was watching a video last night. It was one of Tim Pool's recent streams, and he was talking to, I think it was the chicks from Monster Liberty or something like that. And they were talking about states' rights in that. And I forget exactly what the one said. It's just something about it was, she believes it would be like basically Florida getting more Floridian or Ohio getting more Ohioan or whatever the case be. And it would just be like us reinforcing our own states' rights kind of thing or whatever. I don't believe so. I've talked about this before on the stream. I'll talk about it again actually right now for the next 5-10 minutes or so. And then we're going to finish off with that. So I began talking about this whole thing, the whole like potential balkanization / Civil War II thing back in around 2017, give or take. So it was about 6 years ago right now. And really it ramped up in 2018 when I started discussing like, you know, big picture scenarios, what I think was going to happen and stuff like that. And truthfully, when you look into it, I think what's going to end up happening is, you know, you break down where we see the various maps and things like that from the last election cycle, where you see all these red states and then you see all these blue states. And then if you go deeper into them, you start seeing like these little pockets of like blue in one or red in another and stuff like that. So what's going to happen is you're going to have these states that you have these major cities in that are blue or red respectively, whatever the case be there, or it's like some like rural area that's red in like a California type place or something like that. Or it's like some major city here in Ohio that's all blue and stuff like that from Democrat-run agendas and things like that. And so what's going to happen is you're going to eventually come to a point and a breaking point in this nation where you're either going to have those areas walled off by the opposite political party, or it's going to be those people in that area are either going to be forced out or snuffed out. And I'm not sure which is going to be at this point. But on top of that, then you would have these states becoming more and more in one political direction or the other. You would have, you know, a red state become redder, and you'd have a blue state become bluer. And whether it be people fleeing on their own to a safer haven and stuff like that, whether it be a bunch of, you know, right-wing type of people fleeing to a red state for safe haven and, you know, safety in numbers kind of thing, or the same thing on that one for blue people, you know, Democrat Party and stuff like that, where they would flee to California or New York or some other state like that for their own safety in numbers and their own, you know, political aspirations of, oh, it's cool to have baby killing on demand, basically, or something like that, you know, or hey, I'm so anti-gun, let's be anti-gun, and this is a fucking authoritarian state. And that's one thing that pisses me off too, by the way, is these people there on Reddit, all these leftists on Reddit, stuff like that, talk about like fascism and all this other shit. And even this one person, I'm gonna see if I can find the comment here real quick, because there was this one dipshit from Michigan that was talking a lot of shit here or whatever. And oh yeah, there's also another one here, this jackass talking about these people were indoctrinating their kids to vote red or vote yes on the August ballot. And it's like, no, that would be you grooming fucks there on the left that are trying to groom children to fuck them because you're a bunch of pedophiles, dude. So anyway, yeah, the original post. This is the comment I was looking for earlier, by the way. This poster here said they were talking about the people on the truck there with the vote yes things. Said this was in my fairly liberal town that voted for Biden by a wide margin. Just hope these people are the loud minority and aren't a bunch of brainwashed libs. And my response to that person was, oh, you mean like the Democrat Party of Ohio that screams, whines, and complains and commits felonies on the House floor in the last 8 months because you know you don't have numbers here and never will again. And then, yeah, this person here in Michigan admitted to gerrymandering in Michigan there. So let's see here, as they were saying, person said, I'm in Michigan and rooting for Ohioans to vote number one down. We gerrymandered our state, got more fair elections. How the fuck do you gerrymander a state blue and supposedly claiming you get fair elections after that? No, you don't, dude. What you get is authoritarianism under Gretchen Whitmer's Hitlerian ass is what you get there, and her grabbing guns and shit. And they continue on and said, and got recreational weed and all from the ballot box issues. That's what they are scared of. That's what they want to prevent. I mean, that's what we will prevent here because here's the thing, right? Y'all think lawsuits don't exist, man. You really think people like me, even if we don't have the money, aren't going to find the fucking money or aren't going to find organizations to back us to commit lawsuits against your asses if this shit goes through? I've already said it yesterday. The second, if they even are able to fuck over issue 1 and get their fucking abortion shit through in November, dude, I'm immediately going to the Ohio Right to Life people and being like, hey, do you need a plaintiff to fucking file a lawsuit against these fuckers? I'll be the guy for you. That's how fucking determined I am to stop these cocksuckers, dude. Because I'm sick and tired of them. Because that's what it is. And what they really mean is they sat there and gerrymandered their state fucking blue in Michigan to fuck over Republicans, fuck over people like our boy Duke Liberty and his family. And then want to sit, or even that same kind of thing, people like 2 Live Moo, another one of my buddies up there in Michigan. You know, these pro-gun guys actually give a fuck about the Constitution, like give a fuck about the founding fathers of this nation, actually give a fuck about constitutional rights and the Second Amendment, and yet they're trying to strip away their freedoms is what it is. Because it's all a bunch of leftist Hitlerian people, dude. And that's the entire point, right? If you go back in, even if you go back into history, world history, for the last 100-something years now, since the 20th century and stuff, and you look at every dictator, whether it be Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Che Guevara, Hugo Chavez, Nicolas Maduro, etc., dude. Every single one of these motherfuckers were always leftists. There was never some right-wing authoritarian out there in that time period of those mentioned. They were always hardcore Democrat types, dude. Hell, the fucking Nazi party meant National Socialists, for God's sakes. It was a bunch of hardcore left-wing fucking National Socialists. And it was made by a dictator who wanted to mass murder a bunch of fucking Jewish people. And that piece of shit Adolf Hitler. And what's even more fucked up is, even going back to what we've talked about before on this channel, you know, it's these same commies, it's these same radicals and stuff like that that want to pull that same shit here nowadays. Not realizing they're going to be the first ones up against the fucking wall when things go down, dude. You know, just look back in the history of Nazi Germany, for God's sakes. What'd you have there? You had 2 forces behind Hitler's ass. You had the SA and you had the SS. Night of the Long Knives. You had the people that were behind the SS group go and whisper into Hitler's ear and be like, oh, these guys in the SA are trying to fuck you over and take your power over, bro. We need to kill them. And they did. You had all the SA guys fucking rounded up pretty much and executed by the SS types. And that's what it was. It was to wield more power. It was to take out any opposition or opposing force to their control at that point. And that's what these people don't understand nowadays. So these leftist types of people don't understand nowadays. All you're doing with the shit you're trying to pull is you're creating more opposition. But even worse to that, you're creating your own fucking end. Because you're enshrining bullshit that is going to do nothing except snuff you out 10, 15 years down the fucking road. If not even faster than that. And you wonder why people like me are calling you out on that shit. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't want to see you dead. I don't want to see you dead by some dictator's fucking hands. I don't want to see you democided by a fucking tyrannical government. But yet you keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And then it's like, throw my fucking hands up. Like, is it even worth it anymore to fucking say, fuck it, man? Like, fuck these people. Seriously. Because that's where I'm at right now, honestly, here on July 4th, 2023. It's like, any given day anymore, it's either try to save these people from themselves or fuck them, let them die. And right now I'm for that second one. Because they're ending themselves. They are committing their own mass genocide by continuing to allow these fucking globalist pieces of shit to remain in office. The same people that put us under lockdowns 3 years ago. They're continuing to push it further and further. They're continuing to move the goalposts further and further. And then talking about compromising on stuff. Fuck you. We're not going to compromise on a goddamn thing with y'all anymore, dude. We're going to fight you like hell on everything anymore. And we're going to dig our fucking heels in deeper and say, no, enough is enough. Not one more goddamn inch. We are drawing a fucking line in the sand, and then we're coming over that fucking line and drawing another fucking line, and we're coming over that line and drawing another fucking line all the way back to the original goalpost, motherfuckers. That's what needs to be done right now. And it starts with us, the American people, the constitutionalists of this country, running for office ourselves. Just like I'm doing next year for Stark County Commissioner, and it's as simple as that. And hopefully we can make it to that point in time in history. Because I don't know if we can right now. I'm hoping we do. I'm hoping we can. I'm hoping it doesn't end in fucking firefights, honestly. But the way it's looking any given day now. You know, we got fucking World War III on the horizon right now with fucking Russia, Ukraine shit. Fucking China doing all kinds of shady shit over there in their fucking nation. All these other countries gearing up for something. You got fucking Paris, France, and other places like that in France on fire now from Islamic terrorism. You got fucking that shit moving into Switzerland and various other countries now that are pretty close to France. You know, it's a whole George Floyd revolution over there now kind of thing. Over some Islamic terrorist kid is what it was, dude. And you have these countries being, you know, mass invaded by fighting age males. It's the same exact thing we talked about here. You know, obviously, you have all these motherfucking people who are crossing our border on a daily basis. You know, half of them have passports with them that they're burning like 10 miles outside the fucking border. Because they know they can never seek asylum if they have that passport with them. It's these people that are being brought in by Soros NGOs. It's the same fucking people, by the way, that movie that came out today, The Sound of Freedom, is calling out. It's the human trafficker motherfuckers behind that stuff. It's the same pieces of shit who are bringing these unaccompanied minor kids into this country to molest them. So they can sell these children as sex trafficking and molest them until they're dead. It's absolutely sickening. It's absolutely horrific, dude. And I give a lot of credence to the men behind that organization that movie's based upon, because they did what they needed to do to save these kids around the world right now. They did what most of us would do, which is get the kids free from these fucking sick-ass people. These fucking globalist cabal of pedophiles. The same fuck people I've been talking about on this channel for like 5 or 6 years now. You got pedo rings in the U.S. government. You got pedo rings in the fucking Hollywood. You also got them in most state governments for that matter too, by the way. People don't realize that one, man. And I've started to wake up to that shit too, by the way. Even here in Ohio. With the amount of corruption going on in Ohio, dude, there is definitely a Democrat pedophile ring going on in the Ohio right now. I guarantee that one. And I'm going to try to expose that shit if I can next year or two. Because I think it's not only going on at the state level, I think it's going on at county levels too as well on that one. And it's mostly to do with like CPS and stuff like that. So anyway. And then of course we got all the serial killers running around right now, which, you know, may or may not be cops in this country. You know, you got that one in Chicago there that we talked, that NAA was talking about last night actually. Where it was, I think they found like 16 people in some like river area there, which if that is the smiley face killer thing I'm thinking it is right now. Specifically, look at the smiley face killers. It's basically a group of people all around this country that have been committing a lot of killings for like the last decade or two. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that most of them are cops is what it is. They're going around and taking out, like, not even the worst of the worst is what it is. They're basically, I think in a lot of cases, taking out whistleblowers is what it would be then. And it's the same thing why you don't see the Epstein client list right now being released. You know, because it would out so many people is what it is, man. Out all these politicians, out of these various globalists and stuff like that make up Bilderberg and things. And yeah, it's just fucked up, man. But anyway. Hopefully I can go see that Sound of Freedom movie one of these days, but I don't know. Depends if it's actually showing around here or not. I know a lot of them are sold out nowadays, so at least today and tomorrow anyway. Which makes sense, you know, people want to see that stuff. People want to see, like, what the hell's really going on in this country and how we can stop it is what it is. And the way to stop it, honestly, is starting with closing our fucking border permanently. You know? Honestly, if it was up to me, if I was in the presidency right now myself, right now, today, executive order signed into place. Closed border, 100-year moratorium on all immigration across the board. No illegal immigration ever again, and no legal immigration for 100 fucking years is what it would be. And then we would start going around finding people in this country that are here illegally, booting their asses the fuck out for life. Find the people here that are legal and stuff like that. You know, deciding if we actually want to keep them here or not is what it is. And then, you know, we get to pick and choose what it is, man. And that way we actually have what should have been happening in this country for the last 60, 70 years now, which is forced assimilation. You know, when my fucking grandparents came here and my great-grandparents came from Poland and Ireland and other places like that, you know, some were from Germany, some were from France, etc., etc. When they came here, some of them spoke Polish still, some of them spoke German still, some of them spoke French still, at least one of them spoke Irish still. They made sure that their kids assimilated to English no matter what. And that's the problem right now. When you're mass importing people on a daily, if not hourly basis into this country, there's no way to assimilate. There's no way to assimilate people. Because all you're doing is allowing these people to come in here and create little Honduras, little El Salvador, little Nicaragua, little Mexico, little I was going to say little Italy, but that's not really a thing anymore. It would be all the Central American countries. That's what I'm thinking about right now. So yeah, it'd be like Mexico, El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, little Guatemala would be one. You know, or it's like other places like little Somalia in various places like parts of Columbus, Ohio, or fucking, you know, Minnesota, which, by the way, pretty sure that we got fucking Medicaid frauded today from some fucking piece of shit Somali terrorist in Minnesota. That being said, my mom was thinking about it after the fact, and what happened was, we're pretty sure that that government data breach that happened a couple weeks ago got her shit is what it was, and they were calling to confirm her numbers is what it was then. And so they could basically try to fraud Medicare is what it is then. So basically spent most of my morning filing multiple complaints with the Health and Human Services site because there's nobody in place right now on 4th of July. And hoping that they can actually get these complaints ready and rolling, and you can actually deal with this shit properly instead of actually having these assholes having, you know, a bunch of Medicare fraud billing and stuff like that to my mom's accounts would be then. When she's not getting these supplies is would be then. So it's fucking disgusting, dude. And again, it wouldn't be an issue if we kick these fucking people out of our country is what it is. Like, seriously. You know, even going back to PPP loan theft 2-3 years ago now. You know how many people were not fucking busted on that loan theft? It was a whole bunch of Somali terrorists that weren't. Legitimately. Minnesota and Columbus both actually had it there. And yet neither place was able to deal with that shit. You had some people that were arrested for it, but there's still hundreds, if not thousands out there that committed this shit and they were never arrested for anything, man. Even though they should be hardcore felons in this country, and they should be exiled for life from this nation's soil is what it is. And if we, you know, fucking seriously boot down, fucking hammer down on these people, dude, and dealt with the shit correctly, you would have America be one of the best nations, if not the best nation on earth right now. Because we would have freedom for American citizens, and you would have a bunch of fucking people who shouldn't be here in the first place get the fuck out of here is what it is. And that's how it should be anyway. You know, enough is enough put up with Islam's bullshit here, man, for real. Like, I'm so fucking sick of that. I'm just overall of it, honestly. I'm just ready for something to pop off at any time anymore. You know, just fucking hell on a swivel every day, man. Figuring out what the hell's happening here. Oh, are we at war yet? Oh, are we in World War III yet? Oh, has one of these countries' crazy ass motherfuckers in power dropped a nuke on somebody yet? You shouldn't have to live your life like that. And it sucks that we have to now. It's why I try to distract myself with other things, but unfortunately, you know, it's very just depressing, honestly. Very depressing, very fucking just bogs you down, man. It's not fun. But anyway, most likely, I'm thinking Honda will be doing his chat later tonight. I'm not sure. I think he said he will, but I don't know. But hopefully he'll have one there for the Taco Tuesday Rumble chats, 4th of July special, whatever will be there. And yeah, as long as he has it and sends me a link, I'll be on that panel for sure. And then hopefully we will talk to Corey and some other people then tonight too as well on that one. If nothing else, if Honda decides not to have a 4th of July chat, I will do a 4th of July chat on this channel because I'm not going to have another thing happen then. Again, not sure about time though. It depends. I'll have to coordinate and stuff like that. It'll probably be a little bit earlier, honestly, than Honda's chats would be and stuff. So it'd be like 9:30 maybe instead of 10:30 Eastern like Honda loves to do all the time. So, because of course he lives like 2 hours behind me is what it is. So for him, it's only like 8:30. But yeah, man, when we're done with those chats, it's always after midnight here for me, and I'm kind of over it right now. So anyway, maybe I'll do a lead-in chat or something like that leading up to that potentially. Do like an 8:30 to 9:30 chat or something like that, or whatever it is, like early chats or some shit. I don't know. I'm debating right now. We'll figure it out. But either way, yeah, most likely we'll be on that panel tonight then, and then we'll go from there as it'll be. So anyway, happy 4th of July, everybody. Hopefully it will not be our last on this earth. I mean that seriously. Because honestly, it's like, again, any given time, you never know, man. Tactical nukes are a real thing in this world. Honestly, it was up to me. We just have every country denuke right now, starting with all the ones that have Islamic terrorism taking them over in European nations, like specifically France, Britain, etc. there, who I know still have some nukes is what it is. Because the last thing you need is Islam controlling nuclear weaponry, man. Seriously. And we all know, you know, back when they had apartheid in South Africa and they had nuclear weaponry right there, that's what it was, dude. The only smart thing that the people did before you had apartheid disbanded was they denuked that fucking country. And thank fucking God for that one, man, because holy shit. If you want to talk about psychotic nuts like Joseph Malema, oh my God, dude. That dude would have already used like 20 tactical nukes against every nation he could right now if he had them. So fucking glad the people behind apartheid decided, no, we're not going to allow this nuclear weaponry to be here anymore. Denuke it down, man. So anyway, I think I'm going to go check some stuff out, maybe take a nap and stuff like that, because it is about 4:30 my time right now. It's really hot today, too. Even with the red hat on, it's getting hotter. It was nice like a week and a half ago. It was only like the 60s or so. And now for like the last several days now, it's been like fucking 80 plus here, and all humidity is what it is. So it'd be one thing if it was just the heat. The humidity is what's the killer is what it is. And that's what sucks here in Ohio. Is it's like once you get that, you know, 40%, 50%, 60% humidity, it's just like, oh, I'm done, man. Like, get me out of here. Seriously. My niece was here over the weekend and she was like, it's too hot here. I need that sweet air. We were like, what is the sweet air? And she was talking about air conditioning is what it was. So, needless to say, she went back down to Cebus last night. So hopefully she's in her sweet air right now is what it is, man. She's a funny kid. I'll tell you what. I love her. She's awesome. Hopefully she'll be cool when she's like 14, 15. And actually want to hang out with her uncle then. But that'll still be about 5 to 6 years from now. So that'll be about 20, 30 or so, give or take. And she's that age. And of course, I'll be in my 40s by then. Hopefully married with a couple of kids, but who knows? Only time will tell. But anywho, that's about it for today. Hope you guys all enjoyed this. Like I said, be back hopefully tonight with Honda and Company on Rumble. But if Honda decides against doing a chat, I will fill in. I'll send some links out to whoever, if anybody wants to jump in there or nothing else. And we start with just me on the panel. I'll throw the fucking link out to the panel for the StreamYard link. Anybody wants to jump from the actual chat can jump into then. So we can go up to 6 on my free account. So, if we get the 6, we get the 6. If we don't get the 6, we don't get the 6, whatever. But either way, that's where we're at for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all probably, like I said, later tonight or sometime tomorrow or Thursday. And then we'll do another Freedom Friday this coming Friday on the actual Friday and not just a 4th of July special Freedom Friday. So, later, y'all.